Ooh, all right. Here we are again. Another day, Thursday, or it might even be Friday as you're seeing this video. Hello and lovely to see you again. I hope you've got the Friday feeling either way. Another new day, eh? And another week again, almost through. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Times are changing as well. Things are changing. I'm in Sheffield, central UK. I don't know where you are, but I hope for you the weather is better than it is here. The weather's taken a turn. There are changes in the UK. It was sunny, now it's not, and it was locked down, and now it's fading to not. Maybe some more changes coming on Monday. Non-essential shops should open on Monday, and things are kicking off back up and open. Things are changing, and I hope they are for you too. I hope things are changing for you too. I hope things are settling down and stabilizing. Things seem to be settling down, don't they, in the old coronavirus? And I hope things are settling down for you too. I hope you've got a plan moving forward. I hope you're getting your eating back under control. Maybe you've been managing to exercise through this time. I've been trying. I've purchased, like everyone, home workout equipment for an exorbitantly increased price. Almost as if robbery, but it's supply and demand, and that's the game sometimes, isn't it? So I've purchased some home exercise equipment and been trying to stay on it. Usually I'm not bad. Lift a little bit of weight, do a little bit of cardio, go for a little run or two, maybe 5 times a week. I will say I don't exercise very hard, but 5 times a week I do exercise often, so that adds up to enough. Not bad. And now I've taken at least 2 or 3 full weeks off during UK lockdown on exercise, and apart from that, been keeping up with it maybe 3 or 4 times a week. So not bad, not bad. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling in shape. But it's been tough for us all, hasn't it? It's been tough for us all. I'm not sure when gyms are reopening in the UK. I don't think anybody's entirely sure what's going on at any point, but things are definitely changing, which is good, isn't it? That's a good sign. Um, and I just hope things are changing for you too. On today's video, I've got a couple of topics to go through with you. Number one, how much does exercise help with fat loss? So I'm going to be coming at you here on YouTube each week, just answering questions that have been sent through to me. So if you've got any questions, please send them in. You can contact me in some way or somehow. Send them in. And if it's a good one, I'll come on video like this and I'll answer you. These are some questions that have come through to me. How quickly I'll manage to get to it, I'm not sure. Things have been absolutely crazy for me through this lockdown period. I know things have been crazy for everybody, haven't they? Undoubtedly, things have been crazy for you too. I'm sure there's been lots of changes to your routine, to your structure, to your work. No matter whether you're working or not, it's changed, hasn't it? Whether you've been furloughed or whether you've been still at work, things have changed. And things are going to be changing again moving forward. Things have changed for me. Things have been so busy. I don't know about you. I've almost maybe never worked harder than through these lockdown times, supporting my members first and foremost. So working, supporting my 6 Steps to Slim members, because most other forms of support were shut down. Even my some parts of my program had face-to-face support. We had in-person group meetings going on, and I had as many private meetings or personal one-to-one meetings as possible face-to-face. I just like that kind of thing. I like to see you. I didn't start this job to be sat behind a computer. I started this job to help people. So I do like to do face-to-face parts. So yes, that was taken away from us too, but that was only a very minor part of my situation and our 6 Steps to Slim situation anyway. Really, it was. But people's support in other areas had sometimes even just being completely taken away. People finding it more difficult or not at all to go to the doctor, or maybe their counselor, or to maybe their therapist, or to maybe their personal trainer, and I could just see people in the health and fitness industry scrambling essentially to try and do what I do, to coach people online. Luckily, and I feel so lucky, I was already prepared. I was already fully online way before all of this, coaching all of my members with systems, and I've got support, they've got support, we've got full education system online, we've got onboarding systems and inductions, and it's all simple and it's all proven and it's all effective. It was all online anyway. There's people all around the UK using the 6 Steps to Slim program, and even sometimes in other countries. We've got members now in France and Australia and Spain. Not, so people trying to switch, and so it's not easy, people trying to switch suddenly from coaching people in person to coaching people online. It's not the same. I did half and half, and I used to coach fully in person too for almost a decade, maybe even a decade, but then started to blend over into and onto online coaching, and then moved over to full-time online coaching multiple years ago now. But I just feel so lucky that not much changed for me and my members in that respect. Hairdressers shut down. I'm already bald. I'm prepared. I was prepared for the lockdown. I was already working from home, etc. So not much changed for me in that respect, but a lot did change for my members, and a lot did change for the public as well. So the support we were supplying to current members became even more valuable to them, and people found even more value from our 6 Steps to Slim program than ever before, literally, when other forms of support are taken away. And I honestly tried to step up our game. We switched our in-person group meetings to Zoom group meetings, which has some disadvantages, but also has some advantages. Because like I said, we've got people all around the UK and sometimes in other countries too using our program. So it gave them an access to a group meeting like they'd not had access to before. So that's a little bit of an advantage. I started interviewing psychologists and counselors inside the group to put out mental health, because that's also been a struggle throughout this time for all of us, hasn't it? Not like I was mentioning about physical struggles with exercise and stuff, but also mentally, it's also been a tough time, hasn't it? So supporting people in that respect as well. Literally, the amount of interaction in our program tripled, because I get the statistics. Every time somebody writes anything, anytime somebody watches anything in the program, or when people comment and what they do, when people feed back to me, the feedback on the program that's a big part of what we do. People feeding back as much as possible to me and my supporting coaches, all tripled. The amount of private messages I was getting from the members tripled, literally. So I've been just hunkering down during lockdown to support the members. And new inquiries into the program too, never stopping. Big shout out to everybody that's just been trying, during lockdown to work on their physical and mental health. We've still been getting inquiries onto our program steady, and now increasingly as well. It's very busy in that respect. With new members joining the program too currently, and that's just amazing. It has been a struggle for people during the quarantine. I made a joke on my Facebook page, but it's funny because it's true, that it seems like from what I've seen going around, that the UK during lockdown has essentially been a giant nationwide game or episode of the Great British Bake Off. Everybody's been baking. Flour was sold out just forever. Still tough now to get, etc. And comfort eating, it's a struggle for everyone, isn't it? So a tough time. Big shout out to everyone who's trying, and all of my members, and anybody inquiring, and anybody, just like I said, trying to make changes. So anyway, that's enough rambling from me. We should get some actual points of the video, don't you think? So 2 questions on today's video. Number 1, before I got distracted, went off on a little tangent, I apologize. How much does exercise help fat loss? Exercise versus dieting for results. How much effort should you be putting in proportionately into one or the other? Good question, eh? And then question 2, big questions. Questions 2, how best to track your weight loss results? Well, I'll just tell you how we track our weight loss results, and then you can just do that. In my opinion, we do it the best way. That's why I recommend that people do it that way. But You can do what you please. I'll just tell you our way, and then you've just got more information, and you can do it your way, somebody else's way, or you might like it our way too. So let's get started on how much does exercise help fat loss then. What about dieting versus exercise in terms of comparative results? This is a great question, because if you understand how fat loss works, those are your two main variables: calories intaken versus calories burned. That's basically the fat loss game. Calories in your body, it kind of works like petrol in a car, where your body requires calories, fuel, like cars require petrol, and then you burn through it. But then when the car runs out of petrol in its petrol tank, your metaphorical stomach, let's say, in the example, when the car runs out of petrol, it just stalls, doesn't it? It just boom, it just powers down, it just dies. But the human body, thankfully, is smarter than this, where we have a reserve petrol tank. Very nice. So that when we run out of calories, petrol, fuel in our body, in the stomach, etc., if you've not eaten for a little bit of time, we just access the reserve petrol tank, which is the body fat. That's the body fat we've got. It stores calories, and lots and thousands of calories stored in our body fat. So with this basic understanding, what do we have to do to get rid of the body fat? Then if we feed our body a little bit less than our body requires per day, that causes our body to switch over to burning that reserve petrol tank and burning our body fat for fuel, and then that's how fat loss gets done. So then what can we do about this whole calorie situation? Again, if we stick with the car analogy, it's kind of like if I said to you, next week I want you to see me here again, and I want you to have less petrol in the car, less fuel in the car than you've got now. You've kind of got three options. Number one, you could drive the car. Couldn't you? You could start driving. You could start walking. This burns calories. True. You could also drive the car faster. That would burn more calories, and you'd get rid of more fuel, wouldn't you? That'd be number two. That'd be like running or trying really hard. Let's call that formal exercise, trying to burn it, ragging it a little bit. Number three, you could just stop putting petrol in the car as well. How about that one? And then unlike the car, your body is constantly turned on. So it's like as if you had to leave the car constantly running. You don't actually just power down completely to zero fuel consumption while you're asleep, do you? You actually burn roughly the same amount of calories per hour as you weigh in kilograms. So just interesting little side note, I weigh 70 kilograms, so I burn literally about 70 calories per hour just to be alive, even when asleep, etc. So a good nap can help you on the slim. Not bad, eh? Top tip there. So those are your real two variables. We can either put in less fuel, and because we require fuel to be alive, that automatically fixes the source of the problem, or we can also burn more fuel. Burning more fuel kind of fixes the symptom of the problem, because the problem with body fat, why we've got body fat and why we've all got body fat loss goals, is because we've eaten a little bit too much in the past, so we've got too many calories. And what you can do if you've eaten too many calories is you can burn them off. That's true. That's fixing the symptom, isn't it? We can intake calories and then we can burn them off, or easier than intaking calories and then burning them off after is just don't intake calories in the first place, right? And I know that's a little bit easier said than done, but in principle, this is the game we're playing. So then which is more effective, diet or exercise? Immediately from that little bit of understanding, you can see that dieting, changing the actual calorie intake, fixes the source of the problem, whereas exercise fixes the symptom. If we're always eating too much and then using exercise or something or a good step count to burn the calories back down to the correct amount, that works, sure, that works, but long term, that's not really sustainable, because the first time it's either too rainy or you hurt your ankle or the gym's shut like now or something, or maybe you get ill. Well, then you've always been eating too much. You've just been sort of compensating for it with exercise. And inside the fat loss process, this is not an amazing situation to land yourself in. You're kind of putting yourself on the back foot. It'd be better if we just controlled the food. This is the way I set things up for my members. I set things up with their food intake as if they do no exercise. Most of the time, unless they're an extreme exerciser, unless they do a lot, then okay, we'll take it into account. But for most people, even myself, set up the nutrition as if they don't really do any exercise. And then this guarantees that the fat loss gets done. This guarantees, because everybody knows you can lose fat. without exercise. You know this, Slimming World, Weight Watch style programs, they don't make you exercise. You can still lose weight. Everybody knows. So exercise is not a necessity, which again tells you something, doesn't it? Can you really lose fat exercising without dieting, without changing the food? Oh, that's going to be real tough. You've probably heard that old adage, you can't outrun a bad diet. I know. Kind of true to some extent and on some levels. So getting back to the point, fixing the calories in the diet and not putting them in. This guarantees fat loss, whether you walk or not, you exercise or not. And then if you do exercise, do you know what that's doing? Bonus. Now we're extra winning. We're getting better and faster results than we even expect. If you exercise in bonus mode, like this, when you just set up the mindset and the situation in this way, then the exercising, it allows you to either eat more and get the same fat loss result, not bad, or you can just get a faster fat loss result because you're burning calories extra on top. Good. But then also you're not trapped into, oh, I have to do this exercise 3 times per week, otherwise I won't, or 5 times per week, otherwise I won't lose weight. That's not a pressure situation I want you or you want yourself to be in. So we're not going to set it up that way. We'll set it up where if you don't exercise, fine. If you do, good. That's extra. That sounds more manageable and reasonable, doesn't it? So diet's priority number 1. It's essentially, again, or on a mildly different angle, the same thing that makes people larger is the same thing that makes people smaller. It's the food. It's food for fat loss first, literally. And then point number 2, again, onto the exercise. I don't know if that's point number 2, really. I don't even know how many points I've been through. But part 2 of this, so that's the dieting section. We all know it works. It's the base of it all, and you should try your best to make it the base of it all. And then you can support it with exercise as tool number 2. And as I mentioned earlier, my program's called 6 Steps to Slim. That's because there's 6 areas. Trying to hold up my fingers while holding the book there. 6 areas of your diet and lifestyle that you can work on that will make any major impact. The first one, our tool number 1, so it should be your tool number 1 too, is the diet. It's calorie control overall in the diet. Tool number 2 is exercise. What the main reason for this is that it's just really too hard to burn that many calories. You know, I was saying body fat stores calories. So to get rid of them, we have to burn them. Your body naturally burns them off by just being alive, or you can try and burn extra by exercising as well, right? Well, do you know how many calories are stored inside 1 pound? If you do, you'll know it's 3,500. Okay, so that's how many calories you've got to burn just to lose 1 pound. Now, do you know how many calories you can actually burn through exercise? And I'll say this, it's less than your Fitbit and Apple Watch tells you. I don't know how many you can burn through exercise, and I don't know how many you can burn through different types of exercise either, and nobody really does. Excuse me. Everyone's slightly different. What I can tell you is this. Maximum human burn in 1 hour is about 800. That's if you're Mo Farah and you're the fastest marathon runner ever and you go for 1 hour and you do not stop. Not like 1 hour body pump, because that's not 1 hour exercise. That's like do a bit rest. Not weightlifting. That's probably 2/3 rest, 1/3 actually doing a lift or something, you know, throughout the entire hour. 1 hour of grinding it as the most fit human ever, you can probably do about 800. Maybe, I know another thing, that probably ain't you, and it definitely ain't me. I can't output 800 calories in 1 hour if that's what the best people in the world are doing. I give myself 500. And I'm reasonably fit. I've been exercising all my life, really, various kinds. So I'd say I output maybe 500 calories per hour, maybe 600 if I absolutely want to just scream it to death, you know? But so I don't know what you output, but maybe work it on that. That's what I often put it. If people can exercise for an hour non-stop, probably you've got a good amount of fitness anyway. I usually put people on about 500 calories per hour, 250 per half an hour. Average stats do show if you run a 10K, that burns about 600 calories. 10K in an hour is not a bad time. See, so that's not bad. But what that means is if you're running 5Ks or something, or you're walking 5Ks, which on another interesting note, top tip for you, walking 5K and running 5K, walking 10K and running 10K, whether you walk or you run, it burns the same calories. so you don't got to rush. You just got to get it done. If you're running 5K and you're running 5K in half an hour, a good time, you're probably burning 250 calories. That's going to take you how many? I don't even know. 14 runs? Is that right? Is it 14 times 250 to get to 3,500? It's a lot. It's... Where's my phone? I should just work this out. Shouldn't I? I don't even know why I'm trying. Because fat loss is actual science, so you can actually work it out on a calculator. You know, you can work out how things work. So you can put in 3,500 divided by 250. It's 14. He did it. I can see that's backwards for you. I apologize. But it's 14. 14 5Ks. How many are you running a week? 3, 6, 9, 12. You're not even running. You're not even burning a pound a month by running 5K 3 times per week. And then people come to me, I'm exercising all the time and I'm not losing much weight. I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Essentially, you're using the wrong tool for the wrong job. In our fat loss program, we teach something called the transformation triangle, which increases your results efficiency exponential. Just exponentially, just your understanding of this. As soon as it clicks, you'll just get way faster results. I can't go into it now because it's literally a half an hour speech. It's half of an entire lecture from the program. But the point of it basically is that use the correct tool for the correct job. And if you're trying to run off your body fat, that's not really the way it works. It's your supporting tool. We're supposed to be using the food for fat loss first to fix it, and the exercise to support it here on from there. Because 5K, you burn 250 calories. If I said a pound's 3,500, a stone is 49,000. And you're doing 250 per run. 250. It's measly. It's not. It's good, it helps, but it's not. It can't be your first line tool, can it? It can't be your first line tool. You're going to be here until 2030, and your knees and ankles are going to be worn off, aren't they? It's just, it's not realistic. But 250 calories extra per day, if you burn that anyway, that can give you a little bit more flexibility in the food, and eventually it does add up. You know, if you a 5K is roughly about the same as doing 10,000 steps. It burns about 250 calories, somewhere around there. If you do 10,000 steps a day, again, you're not going to lose pounds and pounds a week doing 10,000 steps a day. It's not going to work. But if I do 10,000 steps a day and you don't, I can eat a dairy milk bar each day and you can't, and get the same results. So it just gives you a bit more flexibility. Or I can not eat a dairy milk Monday to Friday, and then I can have a few beers or a few drinks on the weekend, or a takeaway. Nothing will happen. So it adds up and it chips away. Same as if I do exercise a couple of times per week, that'll just add up a few calories, won't it? And it's just helping manage and mediate more than it's your first line and direct tool on fat loss. So anyway, food for fat loss first. That's question number 1. Question number 2, I'm not sure how long I've been on the podcast now, to be perfectly honest, but question number 2, how best to track your weight loss results. I recommend 3 times per week or more, as a slight caveat. More's not necessarily better. It's maybe a tiny bit better, but there's also a give and take with these kind of things. Some people have emotional attachment to the scale, and if this is you, I wouldn't recommend, without coaching, that you start weighing yourself every day, because unless you understand what's going on, which that's a big part of my job, isn't it? Unless you understand what's going on with your body weight, if you weigh yourself every day, it'll change so much that if you don't know why, it will drive you insane. But because it changes every day, it actually changes pretty much every hour. Like after the time I finish this conversation, when I'm talking, I'm losing moisture from my mouth. I would be lighter if I weighed myself at the end of this conversation rather than at the beginning. Unless, what if I drink some of this coffee, which by now is a little bit cold? However much that weighs, if that's 400 mil, that weighs 400 grams. So then that's what, 0.8 and a bit pound? So I've nearly gained a pound just by drinking. What? And then I go for a pee and I'm lighter. And it just goes on and on and on with bloating and food volume and how much you've eaten and water retention and your hormones. And these are all just changing in and out of you every single day because you're not an inanimate object. You're a human. And there's just so many different things happening with you, going in and out and changing every single day. And this all causes change in your body weight. So this is why I also don't recommend once a week. Because how many hours is there in a week? I think 168, but I'm about to Google it. No, I'm not. I'm about to do it on the calculator, sorry. 24 times 7, it'd be 168. I know that's backwards for you, that looks like 861, but it's 168. If your weight changes every hour, maybe if you measured it 168 times, you might get 168 different measures. And we pick one moment in time and you judge your entire week on that. This just doesn't sound clever even to start with, does it? And you're right, it's not. It's not clever. Once a week weigh-in doesn't show you anything. To be fair, 3 times a week weigh-in doesn't show you anything. What's 3 out of 168? Not many. Not many. But your weight only varies by a couple of pounds per day. And yes, it'll go up and down depending on your hydration levels and hormones and bloating and toilet and this and that. Yes, it will. So we try, you can try and mitigate some of this if you can. So you can try and always weigh at the same time of day, preferably in the morning after you've been to the toilet, before you've eaten, something like that. You know, if it's the same every time, then that's minimizing change a little bit. Not sometimes with like slippers and a dressing gown on and sometimes not. I know that's obvious, but it's just a point, isn't it? Always use the same scales in the same place, try and do it at the same time. Then you're trying to minimize variables, but still, that only minimizes external variables, really. There's so many internal variables that you just can't control that tightly. Every day you eat a little bit different, talk a little bit different humidity, different temperatures, isn't it? This all affects it, literally. You sleep a different amount, this illness affects it. Every single day, weight changing. So you can tell from this that the more times we check your weight, the better it'd be. Correct. So we get better understanding. Fat loss, like I said earlier, it's science. So when you do science, the more data you collect, the better. And when you're checking your body weight, you're checking information about you and how you are changing, right? And we are trying to change something about you. We're trying to change your body fat. So the more data we collect, the better. But there's also a balance to this. So then why don't I just recommend weigh every day? Firstly, because it goes up and down a ton, and every day it'll be up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit. And some people have an emotional attachment to the scale where that's just not appropriate. If you're going to be really happy when it goes down and really annoyed and sad when it goes up, this is just an emotional roller coaster that you don't need no part in. I'm just not here to cause that level of stress on you. But once a week also sucks because that's just not enough information at all. What we're looking for is an average trend. We're looking to see, even though it's going to go up and down constantly and forever like it is, even if you're gaining weight, it won't just go up in a straight line. Even if you're staying the same weight, you won't just stay the same weight every day. That's not real. Everybody's weight goes up and down every day, like I've said. You just maybe don't know this because you only check it when you're dieting. Right or wrong. Some people have habits of just checking it every single day forever, but I suppose that's just their choice, isn't it? But most people, they only check it when they're dieting. And then when they start dieting, they start checking their body weight. They see that it goes up and down continuously. They're like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Nothing. It just always does that. You just usually don't pay attention. Even if you were gaining weight, it wouldn't go up, 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 up. It'd go up, down, up, 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 down, up, up, up. It'd go up and down, but just up more times than it went down. So on average, it'd trend up. Makes sense? If I had a whiteboard to handy, I'd draw it for you. Maybe next time I will. But I'm sure you can understand. Even the emoji on your mobile phone looks like a wiggly upline trend. If you're losing weight, it's the same. It'll go up and down, but it'll just go down more times than it goes up. If your weight's stable, weight maintaining, by choice or not, it will still go up and down, but it'll just average back over a couple of weeks to the same point, or over a couple of months, or over whatever time period. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what you should be looking for in yourself as well. Not for it to go down every time. That is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. No one's weight, you've never seen it, you've never heard of it on any program. Not unless somebody only checks it like once a month and they're doing really well consistently, then okay. Because that might be because you only go up and down a couple of pounds in water and hormones and bloating, etc. But you could lose, I don't know, half a stone to a stone per month if you're smashing it on the fat loss of body fat. So then, yes, despite the ups and downs, if it goes like this, zigzagging up and down, if you're watching on the camera, but you only check it at very far away points, you won't see the zigzag up and down. It won't be enough data points. The reason I like people to check it more is because I want you to see that the weight is going down, and I just give you the understanding that it is going to go up a little bit, but it's going to go down more times than it goes up. So just watch it and we'll see. And then we're looking for an average trend. To get an average trend, I need probably about 5 or 6 weigh-in points, ups and downs, and then we can start to see which way they're trending, how many ups versus downs you're roughly starting to get. Even 5 or 6 is not many, you've got to admit, but it starts to give us a kind of an idea. If you're only doing it once a week, it's going to take us literally 5 to 6 weeks to see what's going on with any level of accuracy with your results and your metabolism. And that's just too long. I just don't want that. If we do 3 a week, then it's only going to take a week and a half, and then I'm starting to get a picture of which way your results are going, roughly how fast your metabolism is, roughly how many calories you're eating, etc. And this is giving us really great information to go forward with. Why don't we do it every day then? Because fat loss just takes longer than that. You can't really lose that much fat in one day. You've never seen anybody within one day get way more body fat or lose loads of body fat in one day. It doesn't matter what you do. If you eat 0 calories today and you run 20 miles, tomorrow you look the same. It's no difference. And if you eat 4,000 calories today, you just go all at it and for it. Tomorrow, you might be a little bit bloated, but you'll look the same. Overall, you look the same. It just takes longer than that. Like I said, it's 3,500 calories per pound. You can't burn that many in a day. Highly, highly, highly unlikely. So to lose 0.1 pound in a day of pure body fat, that means you need to burn 350 calories. You need to be 350 calories under, either in consumption or total, including the amount that you've burned, 350 under your metabolism, metabolic level, calorie maintenance, whatever you want to call it. If you want to lose 0.2 pounds of body fat per day, again, that doesn't sound like very much, does it? But then you need to be 700 calories under your maintenance level, your metabolism level. You need to eat 700 less calories than you required, or burn 700 calories while eating the correct amount that your body required. Not easy, is it? Not easy for only a 0. And is it really sustainable to eat, like to get 0.3 pounds of fat loss a day? You need to be more than minus 1,000 calories per day under your body's requirement. That's doable, but not really realistically long term. People on my program do it, but if they start doing it for too long, I start telling them to take it a little bit easy. Otherwise, you're just going to make it real rough on yourself. It's just not much food, not much nutrition. It's not good for your energy levels. It's good for your motivation in terms of a fast fat loss result, but that's all it's good for. It's really tough on everything else. So just settle down, Sally, and stop and smell the roses for a second. You're doing really well. It's fine to take a couple of days off, and then when your energy levels are feeling back good, and you've got rid of some hunger and restriction, cravings must be building. If to get minus 1,000 calories per day, you have to eat roughly 1,000 calories per day, because most ladies' metabolism is roughly 2,000, like it says on the cereal box. Maybe a bit lower. Maybe most ladies. Yeah, maybe 2,000. That's not a bad estimate, to be fair. So you need to eat about 1,000 calories per day. How long or how consistently can you eat 1,000 calories per day for? Not majorly long, is it? And I don't really want you to be perfectly honest. I don't really want you to. It's not. That's not going to make things better. Long term, I guarantee that's not even going to make the fat loss faster. Short term, definitely. Lower calories definitely equals a faster fat loss result. Long term, nope. You're just going to get hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. Cravings are going to increase. Energy levels are going to decrease. Willpower is going to decrease. Love for me is going to decrease, and hate for the program is going to increase, because you're just going to be grinding yourself into the floor and finding it really difficult. And then long term, it's just going to crash and burn. It's just going to be too restrictive. And fat loss just still, even on 1,000 calories per day, takes a while. Losing more than a stone per month, no matter what you do, is not really realistic. Half a stone per month, even then, is really freaking good, and you're doing extraordinarily well to be doing that. I see people get up to about a stone per month. Not unrealistically, but then that really is maxing it, in my opinion, roughly. And it depends on what you do, who you are, and how much weight you've got to lose, and all sorts. So even then, it's like, how many pounds or stones do you really want to lose? You have to lose 2 pounds a week. You're going to have to be minus 1,000 calories per day under your metabolism's level every single day with no days off to lose 2 pounds a week. So it's like, how many pounds do you want to lose? Let's not make it too rough. Anyway, fat loss takes a while. That's my point. So we have to view the results over a while. Makes sense, right? So even comparing what you did in 1 week, you haven't really lost much fat in 1 week. You know, if you did 1 week transformation pictures, you'd be nitpicking at differences to notice a change, wouldn't you? It's because fat loss is not that fast. So it takes a while to view the results. So I like 3 times per week as a middling average. Every day is a bit much because there's no change in one day really. You can do it and it does give you more results. You just have to be aware it's going to go up and down. It's going to look really crazy still until you zoom out and view an entire month's graph. And then if you've got 3 times per week or more points over a month's graph, how many would that give you? 3, 6, 12 points or more over a month, ups and downs like that. You will literally be able to see, oh, it was zigzagging up here and now it's zigzagging down here. And then from that, I can calculate exactly how fast your metabolism is, exactly how much you ate, and all kinds of excellent stuff that really, really helps you. So anyway, I'm talking too long, but I would recommend 3 times per week is a nice average, between every day being a little bit too much and once a week not being enough at all. That is enough rambling from me, don't you think, ladies and gentlemen? Giving you enough of an ear beating today. Thank you for listening. It's been lovely to see you again. I hope you've got that Friday feeling. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you have a nice weekend. The weather's not looking too good here in the UK, but try and not let that get you down. Try and just switch your plans. Spend time with your family. I know some people have been seeing and managing to draw some positives out of this lockdown, like maybe a bit more time off, or maybe just switching your perspective to what's really important, or maybe spending time more with your family. And I know it's been tough, but just try and stay positive. How many weeks has it even been in lockdown now? Who knows? Who knows? They've all blended into one. I barely even know what day it is ever. But we're making it through now. We're making it through. Changes are happening literally at this minute as you're listening to this. Changes are happening right now. Things are settling down and things are changing back to normal. So you've made it through. Literally, you've already made it through the worst of it. Did you even think you could manage? Maybe at some points you even thought, oh, I can't handle this. You were wrong. You were wrong. How many times in the past have you thought, I can't handle that? You were wrong. You've handled every single thing that's ever been thrown at you because you're still here right now. Aren't you? You're still here right now. So you're more powerful than you expected. Thank you for listening. I'll see you again soon. Again, reach out if you've got any questions. If you like this video, give it a little like, subscribe to the page, all that good stuff. Reach out if you want to talk. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you and I'll see you again soon.